Oh hey everyone, and welcome back to Planet Zoo franchise, or shall I say Sandbox. Today we are revisiting my very first franchise zoo, which is the Ruhr Zoo. This has been our very first franchise zoo that has been started around November 2019, so quite a while ago. And you can see this is the entrance view over here. It's not really like super amazing, but I thought, you know what, I will also give this to you as a downloadable content today, because now with the latest update of the game, which is a couple of weeks ago, you have now the chance to open your franchise zoos as a sandbox, and hence you can share them with the community. And this is what we're going to do today, but let's delve down into the road of nostalgia a little bit, because I quite do not remember what has been going on in the zoo. First things first, we can change the time to a better lighting. There you go. This looks a lot better and more inviting, doesn't it? So yeah, the Ruhr Zoo was our first franchise, and that means, just for you guys as information, there's a lot that the game didn't feature back then. So, it only had the Arctic DLC, the very first one included. That's the only one we had. So there's not like none of the South American pieces, none of the Australian pieces, none of the aquatic stuff. So loads of things that haven't been implemented to the game as of then. And so yeah, this is a very bare bone one. And since it was franchise, it's not the usual kind of standards I try to bring into my project. So this was really focused on making a running zoo. Looking into the zoo, except the polar bear, I think there's mostly everything is fine. We have some people visiting, but yeah, let's have a little look what's going on. So we do have at the beginning our money printing machine, which, oh my god, I'm very happy that that isn't too crowded in here. So yeah, we do have our money printing machine by having some exhibit animals that reproduce quite nicely, and so we are having a lot of money. This was the only way to save the zoo. Then we do have the Chinese pangolin over here in, well, kind of a semi-Asian night house thingy. I think it's not really, it's like kind of a weird rock roof above it, and that's about it. That was one of the last things I did in the zoo. Not gonna lie, this was kind of put into like a little bit more on the easy side of things. I wanted to make this like a night house as well, but I never finished this one. I started building the wall over here, but it never really got finished. This in fact over here is our very first habitat, and this episode is still one of my best videos on the entire channel. I think it has almost 100,000 views as of now, and at the moment it's not even populated. This was the warthog in here. I basically got rid of it simply because they did repopulate too quickly and making my life a little bit harder, and I didn't want that. So yeah, food stations. Food is something we still have to talk about. I still have to connect with Frontier. Still not happy about how food works in this game and drinks and stuff, but you know, that's something for another video. But yeah, so this is the polar bear habitat, and we all remember the big issues with the polar bear once it was introduced into the game. God, can you guys just take your rubbish and just bring it away? Just don't throw the trash down here, okay? So yeah, this polar bear habitat was meant to be that size, as you can see in this frame right now, but we all know it had an enormous demand of size, which to be fair is quite realistic, but I wasn't prepared for that. Even though we do still have this lovely little thing in here, which is kind of neat. I still love it. It's this little model of the Arctic area with the melting ice, and just, you know, kind of something educational, I should say. And you can definitely tell that this thing down here with the screen would definitely work as something educational. Pretty cool stuff indeed. And yeah, you have a viewing over here, and then the whole habitat reaches out into this entire area over here and making it even bigger just to give it all the size it needed. So there's one moving across the bridge over here now. Very nice stuff when it works, but in general it doesn't really work that well. Then we do have the crocodile habitat over here, and this one is special in particular because technically they can dive now, practically they can't, because the habitat is not suitable, I guess. Let's have a little look. No, there's no welfare requirement, but they can't also, there's no deep water for them, simply because it's not, like, you know, deep enough. I mean, that's what it is. There was a little hiccup here in performance, not really sure why it was. Anyway, so this is the Saltwater Crocodile one. In this area we do have our, what is that? The grizzly, right? This is the, no, it's the Himalayan brown bear, isn't it? Yeah, that's the Himalayan brown bear. And we do have it in, no, is it the grizzly? Wait. The grizzly, it's grizzly, it's not the Himalayan. It's not fluffy enough and too darkish brown. So yeah, we also have another viewing gallery over here. The cool bit is obviously we could now change the color of the waters, so we can definitely make this a different water than that one. But yeah, this is not meant to be a zoo I'm continuing by any means. I think the best habitat in this entire zoo is still the Bengal tiger one. I'm still quite a big fan of this viewing. Pretty cool stuff. They do use all the enrichment for whatever reason it works, but it does work. So yeah, this is pretty neat. And you can also tell that to a later stage we put a bit more focus into really making the buildings a bit nicer. But yeah, this is then our Asian kind of area we have started to do but never finished. So this is also where the rock blueprint came from. Honestly, this is still one of my best performing blueprints in the entire workshop, so it's kind of fun. Also back in the days where we didn't really have nice water features, we used these kind of things to make like a water feature that almost looks like something. They changed the rotation of these little bubble thingies here by the time, so it doesn't really look as nice as it used to be, because you have to pull them out a little bit more. I don't know why it was this way, but I can show you what I mean. There's somewhere in here there should be the VFX thingy. Can I click it? There you go. And if I do, come on. So if I pull that out a little bit further, you should be able to see the effect a bit better now. So yeah, there's the dripping water. It's not like looking super nice though. It's you could do it way better now with the dedicated waterfall pieces. That looks a lot better. Anyhow, this is how we made it in the days. This little pagoda building, quite nice, but not as brilliant as it could be. We do have the fancy hippo habitat, quite large as well, to giving them the space. And we do also have the macaque habitat, which I still like. You know, I remember we built this pagoda back then, and they can climb it and use it. It was still the time where the game felt so new and so fresh, and the fact that they could climb here and use the roofs and stuff was still so amazing and kind of a breakthrough in this genre of games. And I'm a little bit sad that, you know, but by the time that you play the game so much, and I'm over 1,100 hours of playtime now in the game, you lose this initial feeling, which is just like everywhere in life. You have that initial feeling, and it does vanish because it's normal. You get used to it. But it's kind of nice to see this zoo as kind of a reminder of how this brilliant new feeling was. You know, looking at the zoo today, it looks garbage. I have to say, it's not looking good. We're going to have a look at this in a couple of minutes, but it's looking not really good, and I can easily admit that because I really know what this was all about. It was about the franchise playing the game, but I also think it's a fair bit of reality of how a zoo looks in this game when you play the game and you not design the game. I think there's a fair difference in between designing and playing a game, and there's a little bit I think it's worth speaking about, which I will do in a dedicated video in a couple of days, so keep your eyes peeled on the channel. I'm working on that video. At the moment I have to obviously make my life a little bit more around the baby, so I can only do this stuff whenever I have time, but it's very important to speak about it, and I'm really working on this video quite hard because I think there's a lot of good stuff in it which I want to give to Frontier as a feedback and also create a video out of it. But yeah, I think a lot that ties into it is this initial feel of the greatness of the game that delivered all the new climbing mechanisms and all the new stuff, like. And, you know, going back to this initial feeling and looking at these zoos, I really still get the feeling that it is not valued enough how amazing it is that you can build habitats like that. And please, could you not change the weather? That would be amazing. Thank you. I like the hazy looks, but it's not great for a video. So what I wanted to say is this initial feeling vanished, but still the greatness of it is still there and existing. The fact that you can build whatever you want and the animals are able to interact with it in, let's say, a very decent way. Not the perfect way, there's still a lot of flaws around it, but in a very decent way. And if you know how the game works, you can make it even better than it already looks. So there's a lot of stuff in here in this game which is amazing, and I think there's a lot in this game which could make it even more amazing. Also, look at the African wild dog. My god, I totally ignored this animal since the very beginning. I love it. It's amazing. It's one of my favorites in the game. I'm not sure why I haven't done more with it. Our first dog in the game, and it's so fluffy. I like it. I like it a lot. I remember that we played a lot with it in the beta, because that has been a cool animal in the beta in terms of making money for the franchises and stuff like that. So really cool stuff back in the days, but I kind of completely forgot about that. It's not even in Yosemite. Could have been an option for Yosemite as well. Well, actually, it is as a fennec fox in there, but you know, I hope in the future to get a fennec fox and then replace that one. But yeah, so let's move to the last bit of this build. And then we're already done. I mean, of course, we do have a camel habitat. As you can tell over here, this is the Bactrian camel habitat on this plains in the middle. I think this is the most zoo-ish habitat I built in this zoo. Like, this is a pretty straightforward zoo habitat, as you would kind of expect it in a city zoo, in a normal zoo. It's nothing fancy. It's like, you know, you have this bottom of water as a natural barrier between, and then you have this plain in the middle, kind of just like not really, not even like a terrain difference or whatnot. It's just like sand, a few enrichment items, a tree here and there, and that's about it. And then they have their shelter. That's what you do with the camels. There's not really that much you can do with camels, other than that they're just amazing animals. But like, they live in the desert. What do you expect? They're just used to a lot of sand and an oasis eventually, so there's not like that much you can do for these animals. They're very easygoing animals. Look, you can point through the holes in our fence. Great. Yeah, and then there's the last one, and this is a pretty interesting one, because this is the habitat for lion, West African lion. There's none in here right now because we sold them for our other franchise. However, this one was my very first albino I got in the game. So this is the very first albino animal we used, and then we, you know, just created some more one. I still like this house. It's looking very cheap, but it looks exactly the way I wanted it to have, like a bit more city zoo-ish. Yeah, how it used to be. Again, this is not something I would do in a design study or like in a designed habitat, but I think it's going for like a city zoo or like a normal zoo-ish. This is more what a zoo would do, like a lot of concrete, some backstage area for the animals, which is, well, just that little pit over here. Nothing really you would do. Some nice windows high up the walls, and you know, that's about it. Viewing in the middle. Yeah, not more than that. I think this is pretty much all you can tell. However, guys, this has been the little Ruhr Zoo episode, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this little walk back into the past. Now, before we end, I want to really know from you guys, do you want to see all my old franchise zoos? And if so, please let me know which one you want to see first. I will give them to you all to download. Remember, we had quite a few. The Ruhr Zoo was our first one. We had the Efficiency Zoo, where we built everything as efficient as possible. We had our wonderful, what was the other one? I forgot what it all was. We had so many. Oh, we had the Oak Street Zoo one, which I think is still a fan favorite, because the Oak Street Zoo was very much focused on a city zoo with your blueprints. There's a lot of blueprints from the community in there. It's an amazing zoo. It looks a lot better in terms of design and stuff. It looks really cool, and it works pretty well also, not gonna lie. A lot of great animals in there. We also have the Verankiato one, which is the only kind of Arctic Scandinavian zoo we have. I think this one is also fairly interesting because of its unusual layout and unusual use of space. Even though we ended it once the climbing animals from, what was that again? I think South America came in, and you know, in a Scandinavian zoo, there's not that much usage for tropical animals, so we moved on. And then the last one we also still have ongoing. It's only paused. It's gonna come back. The franchise is our Newport Bay Zoo. So quite a few zoos, franchise zoos. So let me know in the comments down below which one you want to see first. That's really important. And then I want to know one thing in particular, and this is very important for the video I'm preparing. If you could change one single thing about franchise, what would that be? Let me know in the comments down below. What would you change in franchise to make it a better experience for you guys? I would love to know that from you. Please let me know in the comments down below. Also, what's your plans for the weekend? Do you have any plans for the weekend? Let me know. But now I wish all of you a very, very nice weekend. We talk soon again. So stay safe, everyone, and have a great time. Goodbye.